Welcome to the virtual lunch. Today is Friday, June 26th, and this is virtual lunch number 75. Stefanie is with us today.
I was in-house as a marketing person for law firms for 18 years. I actually stumbled on this field. So when I was at NYU, I moonlighted at night as a nighttime receptionist for a private equity fund. I wanted to be a magazine editor. I was a magazine editor at Redbook Magazine for 3 years. It paid terribly. So I continued to moonlight at the private equity fund. I wrote the horoscopes for Redbook Magazine. I am not an astrologer. I also wrote a marriage column. I've never been married. It was really bizarre. The reason I say the private equity fund is that their main lawyers were Paul Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison, blah, blah, blah. They were looking for an in-house writer editor. I got the job, met my mentor. She took me with her to 4 different firms. I moved up in the ranks, loved it. I went to a small firm called McKee Nelson, which didn't last because of the financial crisis. I decided to go to the safest firm I could go to, which was Sullivan and Cromwell. I hated it and I loved it at the same time, and I was there for 3 years. I left there, went to Mayer Brown, odd place, lots of laterals, interesting global work. Left there, went to Mofo. So I left there, went to Proskauer. Then I went to go work for my mentor at her consulting firm with Eric Press, who was the head of the American Lawyer. I wound up getting recruited to go to a mid-sized firm and be their CMO. And I was there for 3 years. And then I left there and I started my consulting firm. And so what's good about me is that I've worked with lots of firms. I've been there, I've worked with lots of lawyers, and I get it. And I do everything for firms. Most of my clients are small firms, under 50 lawyers. I work with a lot of boutique firms starting out, solo practitioners, and I function as the CMO for a lot of those firms, but I manage the social media presences of a lot of firms, not just law firms. So I work for accounting firms. I'm also working for an IP boutique, and one of their clients, which is a major shoe designer, needed help. And now I'm doing all their social, which is interesting. And so it's been a little difficult during COVID. Some firms said, we're going to push back on all marketing. We're not doing anything. And I said, that's the worst possible thing you can do for anybody in any industry, because you will be forgotten and you do not want to do no marketing, and you must use LinkedIn and you must use content and social right now. It's never been more important to build relationships, because this is all we have. The handshake is dead. No one is going to any in-person event. So if you're not pivoting to using online networking and using it to build your own brands, you got to do it now. One of the ways in which I find that many people get business or get a lead is through their family and friends. So number one, make sure people who you know what you do. I don't think that people hire lawyers anymore because of the name on the door. That's why I think mid-sized firms and small firms have a great advantage. It's about the lawyer. And that's why I think laterals have a really great advantage also. And those of you in the legal field who support lawyers like I do have a great advantage. I work from home. I don't have any overhead, right? Can I give you guys my 3 tips for LinkedIn? 1, build a strong profile. Many of you have a good profile, but then you don't do anything with it. The other thing you need to do is have a good profile headshot. It's easy to get a headshot or personal picture. You have to have a good background. It's called Face App. What it does is give you a little bit of a liquid facelift. You can strip out the background, put a professional background. Number 2, everyone should have a LinkedIn cover image. You can go to unsplash.com and get rights, or they're already licensed images. You can put your logo on it. Don't pick a sports team. It should not be a picture from Aruba if you don't work in Aruba, or flowers if you don't work for 1-800-flowers.com. Optimize your LinkedIn headline. If you don't, it will pull in your most recent position. Many of you just have something that says attorney at blank. Boring. Why is this so important? Because LinkedIn pulls it into their searches and it gets pulled into Google. My other tip for you is put in all your professional experience. Include past companies, even experience from before you were a lawyer. That's applicable. It tells the full professional story. Education, so important to put in. Put in everything that you did. Don't write a book. Don't put in what you had as your GPA. Join the alumni groups on LinkedIn of your educational institutions. Groups have exploded on LinkedIn. Join professional groups on LinkedIn. To find the right groups, you can go look at your connections, add in any publications that you've written and accomplishments into your profile. You can do that at the bottom. It's something to do when you have free time. It tells the full professional story of you. I've given you some tips for your profile. Optimize your friendly URL. Many people don't. This means that you didn't go in and claim your friendly URL, and it means your name has a bunch of gobbledygook after your name. I recommend everybody put in their LinkedIn profile URL in their email signature. Every single one of you should have over 500 connections. You should all be posting at least 2 to 3 times a week. Post content that's original or articles of interest. You must use hashtags with your posts because this is how second and third degree people will see your content. Everybody should have this on their phones and do this every time you speak at something, every single time you present. QR codes are like the 8-track. It never really took off, but it's coming back and it's easy. Do you see what happens when you hold it up to mine? You can then link in with me. Do you see what happens when you go to my code? You guys then save your code with your photo to your camera roll and then email it to yourself. Then you can insert it in a presentation or in any document. By the way, LinkedIn Stories is coming. Similar to Instagram Stories, this is the LinkedIn featured section. This is what it looks like, and you can have as many things as you want and also remove. Is if you're looking to reach out to people right now, the lowest hanging fruit and the easiest way to do this is the notification section. This is how my clients are getting business. This is when you reach out to someone and say, congratulations, Jim, on the new job. This is what reignites relationships and puts you top of mind with people. So I love my consulting practice, but if somebody wanted to offer me a job that paid $1 million a year, I wouldn't say no. So I just wrote an article about this. This is only visible to recruiters. Did you know you can do this? You guys can set this up too. No one can see this. You guys can't see this if you look at my profile. You should do this if you're also open to jobs. By the way, you should have an about section. Please write it in the first person. If you're uncomfortable, you can say Stefanie or whatever. Do not write it as Mr. Kaplan. I think a combination of promoting your company in addition to promoting yourself is smart. Always make sure you have the okay from leaders. I see some people post things that relate to like some of the successes of their companies, and I'm like, I hope they have the approval to do so. And also there is the perception, are you working for yourself? Are you working for us? Are you working hard enough? Are you doing this on firm time? You posted that at 3:15. Shouldn't you be working harder for us? The other thing with COVID is companies are feeling nervous about, like, they're trying to keep track of what their employees are doing, right? When in doubt, post after hours. So you could post 7 a.m. or 6 p.m. If any company is not going to be supportive of their people having a personal brand, I don't know that I want to work at that company. The biggest mistake you can make on social is sharing a company post without any introductory text. Everyone does that. They're lazy or they don't know what they're doing. Something really important to note is that you can't post the same thing on every platform. You can't post the same image because you have to resize it. And the message you post is not the same on all of the platforms, right? So what I post on Twitter is very different than what I would post on LinkedIn. And I would also be tagging different things. I say always reuse and repurpose your content, but you have to adjust the message for the medium and only go where your clients are. I'd rather you do 2 platforms really well than do 4 mediocre. Video is king. Video, but short video. Podcast also. Everyone loves a podcast because you can listen to it while you're working out or whatever. I take a video using my phone. I have a tripod that I got on Amazon for $14.99. I use Canva, and then I do a little overlay with Canva and I make it look pretty. I like do something that says like LinkedIn tip. That's it. My videos are short. They're less than 3 minutes or so because people lose interest. I see people posting things that are so long and everyone's like, oh. People spend all this money on hiring a video person and thinking they need like in-house production studios. You don't need any of that stuff, guys. You need your phone.
But is it irrelevant how you load the video? Like, is YouTube better than Vimeo, or are they both worse than loading it into LinkedIn?
I always put my videos on YouTube, but I have had the best engagement with posting my videos directly in LinkedIn.
Thank you for clapping.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome.